Well, hello, everyone. It's your girl, Gabrielle. Welcome to a brand new episode of Hot Topics. This is the show where we like to have real talk about real things, you guys. So, as this show is a part of my company, A Step Ahead Tutoring Services, I like to educate you, right? So, if you're new to the show, let me tell you, we've talked about things like living with disabilities, homeschooling, robots taking our jobs, resiliency. We've covered a lot of different ground here on Hot Topics, and today is no different. So, this is an interesting topic, and I'm looking forward to see where this goes. So, let's get right into it. So, the topic for today is how can I spice things up in my relationship? Ooh, I feel the steaminess. I feel the steaminess. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this conversation goes. How can I spice things up in my relationship? So if your significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, you're watching this right now or listening to this right now, and maybe you may have some questions, or maybe you want some tips. This is the show to watch right now or listening to if you're on a podcast. But this is the show for you right now to partake in. So make sure you guys are listening. All right, so let me tell you about my guest who is going to help me with this topic. One second, I'm going to pull up her bio here. Uh, One second. Oh, I lost. Okay. Okay. Whoopsie. All right. So let me tell you about my guest. So her name is Black Ivory. And let me tell you. So I'm going to tell you about her real quick. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Sorry. Sorry. One second. Uh, this is what happens. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna just read it here. Um, so Black Ivory, she is the CEO of Black Ivory's Lair and Black Luxury LLC. She is offering services from mobile massages to burlesque entertainment and adult sexual health education. Sorry about that, you guys. All right, but that is who she is. So we're gonna jump right into it. All right, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring her to the stage. Hi, Miss Ivory. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing this afternoon?
Good. All right. Well, let's get right into it. So, this I know this is a very common question that couples have, that thruples have. How can I spice things up in my relationship? So, I'm gonna give you the floor. So please answer this question for us.
Okay, well, first, let me just start with just a little bit of background with myself. I am a certified intimacy coach and sexual health educator. I provide resources from the date night express to, how to utilize those old toys that have been sitting collecting dust in our drawers, right? So, what I do is I reach clients or new uh, people at their level. So, whether you are looking to start dating or you have been in a relationship for a while or you are looking for new ideas to try out on your honeymoon, I offer a wide variety of educational opportunities. So, getting into the spice of how to elevate date night or elevate your relationship, I always ask my clients, what do you currently do? What are you finding that needs to be changed? Are you bored? Are you tired of doing the same old, date night, Netflix and chill, or you aren't able to make time because maybe you have children or other obligations. Well, I always say start simple. Even if it's just incorporating one thing, one new item a week, whether that is, you know what, we're actually going to make our bathtub into a spa this on Friday. That way you are able to plan. You're able to get the candles ready. You've got your oils and you've got your potions and lotions and just getting into the moment, preparing for that date night, preparing for that intimate moment. I know as myself as a young parent, I actually had to, wait till the kids were asleep, and you have to plan for that. It's like, okay, they're going down at 8:30. So let's get things ready. So, we're running around the house, getting things set up. Kids are like, hey, what are you doing? It's like, oh, getting ready for, our sandbox time. But it's always a matter of communication and planning. And if things don't go right, it's okay. Sometimes we take things a little too serious, and we need to remember that we're dating, we're having fun. Things aren't always going to be quote unquote perfect. So that is the beauty of being together, being in the moment, and being able to improvise. Taking out those old toys and finding alternate ways that you can utilize them with manufacturer's approval. It is oftentimes that we forget to utilize the things that we already have on hand, or the items that are readily available to us. We're so used to going out and buying the latest and greatest, and we forget that there are, we've got 12 toys at home in the drawer that has been collecting dust for years, and that are still operational, but we just need to have the opportunity to, think outside the box per se, and let your kid time come out. Let your happiness, your fun. You remember when you first started dating, how much fun it was and how excited you were. If you are in a relationship and you don't feel that excitement anymore, you need to spice it up. You need to make it a mental choice to have fun again, to reconnect with a partner on a level that is good for both of you. And like I said, it's very much important to keep things simple. Don't make it complicated. But most of all, keep it fun. Keep it fun. That is the most important thing.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much for those wonderful tips. So now let's get into it. So what do you think, what happens that causes, that's, what's the word? What's that metaphor? The spark to go out. What do you think that causes?
You
Uh,
know, what to me, what is it stemmed from? Is that the question?
yeah, like, why, like, why do people need to spice things up? What happens that you need to get to that point where, okay, now we got to spice things up? What,
Right.
do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Like, what,
Okay.
how
So,
do we get to that? How do couples get to that point? What happens?
there's a couple things. First, there is the prediction mode where maybe your partner does the same thing all the time. You know exactly what they're going to ask you. You know exactly what they're going to do. You know exactly how they're going to move. They're going to do this, and then they're done. Um, you know, that becomes not only predictive, but it becomes boring for the partner because they know exactly what to expect. They know how to move, and predictability is boring. There's no nice way to put it. It's boring. But a lot of times it can also come from stress. I mean, we all live lives outside of being home or in intimate times with our partner. And so sometimes those outside things can overwhelm us to where it's taking all of our attention. And we put our date night, our intimate moments on pause because, yes, they're priority, but they're not like high on the list priorities, so we don't put as much effort into them. So in the long run, it becomes where we disconnect from each other. And so that is the premise of keeping it elevated, reminding each other that, we're still dating. We may be in a relationship, but it's still dating. I still have to connect with you in order to keep us moving forward. Um, that is where, the what it called the temptations come in, where we may see, oh, Susie Q down the block is wearing such and such, and oh, my woman would look good in that, but she doesn't have time to do those things anymore, because she's busy working two jobs sometimes, and still running the household, still making sure the kids and the family is still good. And so when it comes to entertaining you or keeping your interests, she's too tired to do anything else, or he's out, as the breadwinner, and is too exhausted by the time he comes home to really participate, other than to thanks for dinner, hun.
Mhm.
I appreciate you. Now let's go to bed. Let's go sleep. Got to get up at 6 a.m. Um, but it really is. Um, it's time. We have to remember that we have to stay connected in whatever capacity that we can. We have to keep it fun, and that's where the spicing it up come from. Let's change things up. If we're gonna do date night next Thursday, let's not do date night at home. Let's plan for the daycare. Let's plan for the sitters. Let's plan for, if we're going to go out to this new restaurant that we've been talking about for 6 months, let's make the reservation so that we don't have a choice but to go, because we've already made the appointment. We've set the time. We put it in our day timers for each other. This is our time. Nobody else gets this time. Come heck or high water, we're having date night tonight. Because it's a partnership. You have to treat your relationship kind of like it's a business. The energy that you put in is what you're going to get out. So if you put in that spice, you're going to get back that passion. You know.
Right, right. And it's it's constant work,
Oh, all
So
the time,
yeah,
all the time.
I
Because
think
I mean, when you think about it, when you are in a business partnership with someone, it's not just one and done. You have to cultivate that relationship with them to get the partnership where you want it to meet that $1 million goal. You have to sacrifice, you have to put it in, put the time in. It's the same as your relationship.
right. And then you bring up an honest point. You didn't sugarcoat it. Predictability is boring, right? So you're doing the same things all the time. You're saying the same words. You're
Mhm.
eating the same food. You're especially when you have a routine. Dinner's always at 7. It gets boring, right? So, and then when it gets boring, that's when people's interests start to waver a little bit,
Yeah,
even to the dangerous side with up to other people.
other
And
people.
so, that's where you have to like shake things up a bit.
Yes, yes. I mean, I'm a firm believer in keeping someone's attention, because I want my attention kept. So if it is the, hey, I'm maybe dressing up tonight, I'm gonna see if he notices that I've got the Susie wig on tonight. I'm gonna see if he's gonna notice my baby doll shorts. I'm gonna see if he's gonna notice that I, put this oil on and I'm a little sparkly tonight. Because those are the things that we have to learn our partners, see what captures their attention. Because what? When you first started dating, what did you do to attract them? Because those are the same things 20 years from now that you're going to have to remember that you did to attract them, because that's their interest.
So what they liked before is what they still like now.
Typically, I mean, we all evolve, but typically, if something has attracted us or captured our attention, it's something that we like, because we've taken a moment to indulge in it, and we've taken a liking. We're gonna see how this puzzle piece works. You know, what makes her smile? What makes him really sit in and engage in my conversation? Um, when I first met them, what was I doing? What was I wearing? Do I remember the perfume that I had on? Because that sensories, it sparks memories. You know.
Of course, of course. And now now talking about kids,
Yes.
right? So kids is a whole other issue, so what do people do with kids, because kids are time consuming, they're always around, always interrupting, right? And I
Yes.
also think there's a parent guilt, and that I have to be with my kids all the time or else I'm a bad
Yes.
parent,
Yes.
so what do you say to that?
There's a couple of ways that can be approached. You can approach it as family oriented, where you are maybe doing date night with all of you, and that way you have the time in with the kids. Maybe going to whether it's going to the Six Flags or to the local arcade, giving them their time, and you all together. So when you are back home and it's now time to settle the kids in, there's no guilt because you spent that quality time as a family, and now it's your time to get your sandbox ready to play in,
Mhm.
and or you can, like I said, pre-plan, whether you have friends or family that can babysit for you for 3 or 4 hours at a time, or let the kids have a sleepover night with their friends. I mean, there are ways. We just again have become very lax in finding ways to enjoy our moments, and it's okay to have that parent guilt, because we all do. We all want to put our kids first, but we have to remember, if we are not healthy and happy, we can't keep them healthy and happy.
Right, and also you want to you know teach your kids separation in a way.
Well, yes, but also we want not only separation, but we also want our children to have positive role models where it comes to relationships as well. Some people aren't okay with public displays of affection, but I feel that when your children see that you are capable of loving and showing a loving nature, they're more apt to show that themselves in their future relationships, because they've seen it in a positive fashion. So, seeing my parents play around the house, I mean, I feel like that's where I got my friskiness from. And, my mom's a pastor. So it's like, it's okay to have that loving connection with your partner. It's okay for your kids to see you horsing around and playing and having a good time, because it is a beautiful connection.
It's just setting that example of what you want your kids to look for in a relationship, how to
Exactly.
act in a relationship, how to keep things going for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years.
Most certainly, most certainly. I mean, I applaud like the parents that do date night with their children. Like, I have a couple friends that have daughters. They're gentlemen friends, and they have daughters, and they take their daughters out. They date their daughters. They take them out on dates to show them how they're supposed to be treated. That a gentleman opens the doors for you. He helps you to have your seat, and different things of that nature, which again is helping our children see the future of how they should be treated. Because it's so easy on social media and television to see how things should not be, that we
Hmm.
need a comparison to see how they should be, you know.
Of course, of course. So now let's get into the nitty gritty, right? So let's talk specifics. So, what specifically can people do to spice things up? So, you already mentioned sex toys,
Right.
um, putting the kids to bed at 9:30, and
Mm-hmm.
then getting your business on after that, right? While they sleep.
Yeah.
So, what other things can people do?
I mean, it's pretty simple things. Whether it is, taking cooking classes, because we all learned that we can use different spices for as an aphrodisiac. Whether it is fruits, the chocolates, and different things of that nature. Really, it's learning different ways to learn how to play again. And I mean, if it's candle making, there's so many things that you can do with soy wax, of using them as massage oils, different things of that nature. If you're along the kink world, then you can use them in that fashion as well. um If you're into buying apparatuses, it's okay to invest in a toy swing. It's okay to invest in paddles and things of that nature where you can um, really learn to explore together. Really, that's the nuts and bolts of it. Is what your interest is versus what their interest, and how you can connect them together.
What about things like, I think there's like edible oil or like the
Oh,
chocolate that we put
absolutely.
on the food,
Yes, I mean
the
there's
whipped cream.
yeah, there's a array of things out there, but I always suggest that you start with things that you already have at home. For one, it's readily accessible. I mean, in today's society, we're always watching our coins. So if you don't have to spend, if you already have it at home, utilize it. You know, if you only use that chocolate frosting for when you do cake on holidays, then use that chocolate now. You know what I'm saying? Write my name on me. So just really, I just encourage people to have fun. Think outside the box. When you tell your kids to go outside and play, what do you think they're doing? They're finding things to do. It's not always like, oh, we live right across the street from a park. Well, what if you don't? Then what are you just gonna sit outside and wait till your parents call you in? No, you find things to get into, whether it's good or bad, right? Adults have to think the same way. I mean, we are kids at heart. So, you know,
So yeah, activities that you could do together, maybe without the kids,
right, without the
finding
kids.
a babysitter, right? What can the two of you do? I'm assuming, I know I say couples, but there's thruples. There's all these different types of relationships, but even finding something that the couple can do together,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
right? Something without the kids, yeah.
even if it's finding other groups that do outings together, or simply like going to a local skate rink. I mean, there's ultimately you just have to think outside the box. What do you like to do for fun? What did you like to do before you started dating? What did you do? Where did you go? Bring those things back to life.
Mm. So now, would it be an issue if you introduced something new to the relationship? Like maybe you were never one to wear lingerie, for example, and then all of a sudden, to spice things up, you wear lingerie. Is that is that a red flag? Like, oh, that's a different thing that you're doing. What is
Well,
wearing lingerie? Well, what's going on? What are you
what's
trying
going on?
to hide, or
Yes.
you know, or stick to what you know?
Well, how do I say this? So we as human are sometimes negative prone. So if someone changes their MO or their behavior, we wonder like what you doing? Like who that brought this up, right? What Susie Q told you, But my thing is that if you're going to introduce something new to your partner, then I suggest you talk about it first. You bring it up in a way that is playful in manner, because you typically will get the most honest answer from them, whether they're like, what's that all about, or hey, all right, now let's do this. um but there's nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong with bringing new items up, or bringing or trying something new, because we all have to start somewhere. We all have to find what our partner's interest is, especially if they are not comfortable talking about it. But if you have a partner that is not so positive most of the time, then I would suggest talking about it first before you dive in.
Right, to bring it up,
Right,
like,
right.
hey, there's this thing I heard about. Can we try this?
Can we try it? Would you be interested? Or if you have already made your purchase of your lingerie, I would do like a sneak and peek, like put it on under your clothing, and like, hey, do you know what I have on today? Kind of a thing. Because like I said, if it's not your typical MO, you don't want to cause unnecessary hardship or stress in your partnership. Like if they're going to accuse you of doing something that you're not, that you know, obviously aren't doing, you're trying to be more romantic. But yeah, I would definitely say walk carefully and definitely talk about it first. Find a way to bring it up in some form of fashion. If they're skeptics.
So, in terms of date night ideas, how often should couples go on a date night? You know, is once a month, once every 3 months? Should there be a schedule, or should it be sporadic?
Well, I feel like this. It's never too much or too often, but at least once a month, because you have to take into consideration of what your lifestyle is. If you're already busy with, you know, 1,000 things a week to get done, you don't want to put pressure on yourself, and you don't want to feel like you've let your relationship down if it doesn't happen this week, you know. But definitely get in the habit of planning it. You know, if you've decided that if you're going to do once a month, every you know, fourth Friday is your night, then put it on the calendar, put it wherever you make your plans, so that you are not missing that time. Because it's so often that we say that we're going to do something with someone and then life takes over, and then 3 months down the road we wonder why we haven't done anything. We never do anything, we're always home, you know. We never go out. Well, but it's been on the calendar for 3 months and you've forgotten about it, you know.
So now that brings up the question of like, should you plan these things or should it be more spontaneous?
Again, it really is going to be based on the couple. I believe in having flexibility. Like, just say if you know you have that fourth Friday scheduled, and you know what, you just heard about this new restaurant open or this new show that's happening, and it's only going to be in town for 2 weeks. Get those tickets. Say, hey, let's put it on the calendar. It's going to be Tuesday night. You have nothing, I have nothing. We're going to do this. That's okay. But still keep in mind that you still, if that doesn't happen, you still have that fourth Friday that is coming.
Oh, so you keep both options
You
open.
keep
So,
both options. You always have your monthly plan. That doesn't change. That is always on the calendar because that is a standing date. That's our standing date. But if things come up, then you have those opportunities.
right. So you still have the things on the calendar,
Mhm.
right? But if something else pops up, like, hey, let's do this, and then if it doesn't work out, you know, you still have
You still have that
your
date
backup
that you already
plan.
have scheduled, right? Because I mean, I'm famous for going to, you know, wine tastings. Like, oh, it's tomorrow. Hey, it's on the calendar. Let's go do this. You know, but again, that's my life has a little more flexibility in a lot. You know, my partners are not always available, so it's like, you know, okay, well, I guess I'm doing this on solo. You know, but I'm still, again, entertaining, getting myself out, meeting new people, and just having my energy open to meeting people.
So, what are your thoughts on porn? You know,
Mhm.
couples watching porn together. Do you think that's a good tool for spicing things up?
Um, I mean, for some it could be, but most people, porn is it's so fake that it's not entertainment. Now, if you are into maybe like the movie styles where it like it has a theme, there's a method to the madness, then that could be something that could be arousing. But for most, it's not. I mean, it's there for some typical ideas of what you can try, new positions, new scenes you can maybe try, new maybe costumes and outfits, things of that nature. But as far as using it for anything other than the entertainment that it is, no.
Yeah, because it's just like kind of like watching TV. You know,
Right. It's really more of a, oh, well, that looks interesting, you know, and maybe giving you all something to talk about, you know, maybe like, okay, now you know there's no way you're gonna fit me into that position. Now you already know that, you know, my leg is heavy over here, you know, you ain't gonna be able to hold it up for 2 seconds. You know, but it looks interesting. You know, I gotta be able to breathe now. I mean, but again, it's the comedy behind it, and again, it opens that door of communication and laughter. Having
It,
fun.
it's a it's a conversation piece.
Definitely.
So, your bio talked about burlesque. What about? Okay, so maybe not, on TV or the internet, but you're going to a show, right?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
going to a theatrical production. So what about that?
Well, those are always a lot of fun, especially if you're going into it where, either you're going to look for ideas or going to see how your partner is going to react to the things that are surrounding them.
Mm-hmm.
But I always say that, there's couples classes out there where you can either learn a few routine and you dance for your partner, then that is date night. Um, and that's vice versa. I mean, there's classes where the instructors teaches gentlemen to dance for their ladies or their partners.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a date night thing. But as far as going out and going to shows, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I tell people all the time, if your partner likes that type of entertainment, go with them. Go to the strip club with your partner. Shoot, throw your money just like they're throwing. Like, hey, honey, look, check this one out. It really is, again, meeting each other at your levels. So I'm a believer in not being or not turning up my nose at someone's interest, because just as sure as you're not going to do or go with them, someone's always willing.
Yeah. All right. So there's, just doing things together.
Together, right,
Couple,
right,
right.
absolutely. Because like I enjoy seeing my partner at the strip club. I like to see him and his friends, shooting the breeze, throwing their dollars, because I'm in to throw my dollars too, because I'm like, oh girl, while I'm throwing my money, girl, where'd you get that outfit? Like, oh girl, I know I can squeeze into that one. Where'd you get that from? But it's in fun for me, and he always gets a kick out of seeing me interact and try to do little things while I'm out there, because I want him to notice me. I want him to know that I am not afraid to get out here, maybe make silly fool of myself, but we're having fun. you know
Right, right, right. Because you're setting that example for him,
yeah,
right? Like you're not boring. You're not. Hey, I could be exciting. I could be spontaneous.
exactly. And there's nothing wrong with him seeing that you're investing in the both of you. You're investing in your throuple. You're investing in what you find important to you, and you find them important.
Of course, of course. So now, I mean, this might be a deeper take, but what if you're trying to spice things up, but the partner is like, I don't really want to go,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
that like there's a sense like they're not really interested
Okay.
in spicing things up. So
Hmm.
they're just like, why? Things are fine as they are. We don't need to do all that stuff. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what? I mean, that might be a sign of something deeper going on. But
I was gonna say, yeah, that is, if I'm finding that people are saying that, they're, no matter what I do, no matter what I've tried, she's just not interested in going out. She's not interested in, trying on. I bought her lingerie. She don't want to put it on. Still majority haven't been taken out of the package. You know, I would definitely refer them on to an actual therapist, um, because maybe there's some other things that are going on that that your partner's not disclosing to you. It could be health wise, it could be just emotional, and the importance is to get them talking to someone, because obviously they have a distraction of some kind if they're not willing to help their relationship when it's clear that things are not happy.
mm, so there's always that line, right? So there's like the like I don't know how to, like there's like the safe side, and then there's always like, oh, but now there's a sign that something's wrong.
That something's wrong. I mean, and typically both partners, they see it, and it's not like overnight. Oh, this is you're just not there anymore. It's usually over a progression of time that you see that they're slowly kind of stepping away from the
Mhm.
relationship. And I'm not saying they're stepping away to someone else. They could be just stepping away because they're just mentally exhausted. They just don't want to deal. And this is, you know, I know you ain't going nowhere. So it's okay for me to digress to over here, you know. Um, but in their focusing on other things and trying to figure other things out, if they're shutting you out, you need to find a way to open that line of communication. It's so imperative because that is typically the time where people are, when their feelings are hurt, their egos are bruised, things like that, they tend to turn to others for comfort and for understanding. And
Mhm.
for what I do, I don't want people to fall into that being shut out is okay, because it isn't. It isn't. Your feelings do matter, and whatever means necessary, you need to find a way to communicate with your partner about how you feel.
Right. You don't want to keep things bottled up, right?
Because when you want to get angry, because that's not a good mindset to be in it as well.
Right. And then your partner, like, you don't want your partner to keep things bottled up, so, there's, it's all fun and games. And then, there's always, you could take a dark turn, a left
Yeah,
turn somewhere, and, it can be serious. And,
yeah.
you're not doing things together, and, one is avoiding you while the other one is, trying to get things going. So,
I mean, and again, unfortunately, that is not my specialty. I am not a therapist. I'm a coach. I'm a cheerleader. I help you get to where you're trying to go. But I'm an advocate for seeking help where you can get help.
right. Absolutely. Of course. Yes, definitely encourage it. So now, what are your thoughts on, people looking to threesomes, right, to spice things up? Oh, let's get a third party,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
This is of course assuming it's the couple dynamic. So,
Right.
what are your thoughts on that? You're like, oh, let's get it, just do a threesome.
Well, I again, it's going to be communication, because I feel that that's not something that you can just wake up tomorrow and want to do a threesome. I mean, you really have to be able to ease your partner into that conversation, and ultimately both partners have to be on the same level. They both have to be willing, not coerced into accepting that type of situation. um, a lot of times I find when I talk to my clients that one partner is like, he didn't ask me 50 times for this. So I'm just going to just let him do what he needs to do because I'm tired of him asking me. And I've already said no. I already told him I'm uncomfortable. And vice versa. I find a lot of guys that are like, dang, she keeps asking me. I don't want, I am not into seeing her with no other dude, but dang, she keeps asking me. And so they just find themselves giving in. And I tell them all the time, then that to me is a red flag. If you're just giving in to something, that means you're not on board 100%. And eventually you're going to be angry that this person is sharing themselves with someone, even though you've quote unquote, okay, I said okay, but I'm not saying okay. And she know I'm not saying okay, but I'm saying okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you
Yeah.
already know he said no, but he's saying okay because he's just tired of you pestering him about it. Um, that's not healthy. Now, if you're both are like, okay, we're going out to this club, we're gonna do a little scouting and see who we find interesting and maybe sit down and have a drink with them. And if we're both interested, then we might ask them to go further. You know, but again, you're both on the same level. You're both 100% wholeheartedly into seeking. You guys are out for the hunt. Then that's okay. It's not typically, again, that's not spur of the moment. They've already talked about it because they got a game plan when they go out. It's like, okay, this, you already know my interest. He's got to be 6'2". He got to be this. He's got to be this. These are my criteria. So when you're looking, this is what you're looking for. And she's got to, got to be packing in the back. She's got to be a little musty. And you know what your partner's interest in is. So that's what you're looking for them. So if I'm out, I'm having my drink, I'm, roaming the club. Ooh, oh, she might be kind of cute. He might like that one. Let me go introduce myself to her for him. You know, and then I can introduce her once I make a connection with her. I can introduce her to him. That kind of a thing. But again, it's a communication, and it's not coerced. It's not I browbeat you into saying yes. Or
Mhm.
hey, honey, we're out of this club, and I didn't already talk to Susie Q a couple weeks ago, and I really like Susie Q. Now I'm gonna introduce her. No, no, that's not the ticket.
Right, and even and by extension, because I think it also is pretty common where people get bored and they want to spice things up. Hey, let's do a threesome. Hey, let's go to a swingers club. Well, let's do an orgy.
Right,
And,
right, right.
people sometimes people seek to add other people to the relationship, and then you have like open relationships.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
um you have people just go like window shopping,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's when you start kind of doing things outside of
Like
of
a partnership.
the
Mm-hmm.
partner relationship. Yes. so
Yeah.
so it you're saying it all comes down to communication
Well,
and
absolutely. I
consent
mean,
and
nobody wants to
comfort.
be blindsided.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be blindsided by something. It's like, I mean, it's nothing worse than you, your partner brings someone to you to meet you, right? And so you're meeting this person, and you find out, okay, I can be friends with the person. I can, deal with whatever level he's or she is trying to get on. Um, and then weeks down the road, you find out that they had already been talking to each other, or they've already had a private moments. Um, that that is, I mean, that's being truly blindsided by not knowing. I feel that with everything, again, like you said, you have to give consent. You have to be okay, but both people have to be honest. I mean, honesty is so important. And it's not honesty to the point of where you're only disclosing enough to get them to okay it.
Yeah.
That's not the honesty I'm talking about. I'm talking about wholeheartedly. Look, Gabe, I am, not that I'm getting bored with us, but I feel like there's something missing from us, and I would like to explore X, Y, and Z with you. With you. I want you to be a part of the selection. I want you to be a part of, meeting the person. I want you to be okay with this person. And if you can't find that with your partner, then you already know it's a no. I mean, you already know.
So now, because then you brought up an interesting point about how do you discuss with your partner that you may be unhappy, you may be unsatisfied, you may want to spice things up. So you bring up a point about how do you initiate that conversation?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because your partner may think everything is fine and dandy, but you're the one who's bored, right?
Right, 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 right. And any, at any time that we can have that change of heart, or that change of circumstance where, it's not that what we have isn't good. It's just I'm bored with it, and I need for them to understand that it's not that I'm bored with you personally. I'm bored with our situation, our dynamic,
I mean,
because
should you even should you even say the word bored?
well, I'm not to them. I'm just
Yeah.
saying in your sense that what you're
Okay.
speaking is like, God, this is like, this is, I mean, it's not bad, but I feel we're missing something. But what I would say is, if you feel that it's in a stage where you are comfortable now trying to bring it up to your partner, I would definitely say that it would be in your best interest to let them know that you are interested in experimentation of trying something new to see if it's something that you both can enjoy.
So let's do a small role play. So how do you, your partner's everything all fine and dandy, but you're the one that wants to spice things up. You're the one feeling bored. You're the
Mhm,
one that wants more excitement. So
mhm.
how do you what do you say? How do you initiate it?
Okay, so for one, I would, if my partner is into the porn thing, right? I
Mhm.
would definitely try to find videos that kind of show the threesome or show the role play of partners going somewhere together and then they're meeting other people. And then I would ask them, what do you think about this? What do you think about that situation? If we were going out, if this was us, how would you do that? What would you do different? And once you've had that discussion, then you can, it's like it's now in the safe zone now, because we've already kind of touched on it. Now you can say, hey, how about, what would you think if I asked for you to let's reenact that this scenario when we go out on Thursday night for date night Thursday night? What do you think if I asked you that? How would you feel? And if they're like, no, you leave the porn with the porn stars, then you know your answer. Or if they're like, well, we could do it, but I don't know how that would work, then you can give them your idea of what you think would work. Whether it is, we know we're going to a X, Y, and Z bar. I'll get there at 9. You can come in at 10, and whomever I'm talking with, um, you can kind of come up and, kind of act like you don't know me, and we can introduce ourselves to each other. And then, if you feel comfortable, you can start talking to both of us. You can give them some scenarios that of things that you think that you might like, and kind of see how they would react to that.
So it's sort of like you're being sneaky with it in a way. So you're going to your partner and you're saying, hey, check out this video I was looking at. What do you think? Do you think we could reenact this?
No, no, it's not sneaky. Being sneaky is not having a conversation with them as to why you're asking them this.
Mm.
That's being sneaky. But you're basically, you are how the attorneys do. You show all the evidence of what you're interested in, and now that is giving you the opportunity to make this into a real conversation for the two of you. So that's not, to me, that's not being sneaky. That's being, this is my way of opening the door to the communication. So I've kind of shown you, because I know if it's not something that you're interested in, you're already going to tell me why you got this on TV. What are we looking at this for? You know? So if you already know that they're not going to be interested in, then why would you hold a conversation on it?
Mm.
So, but if they can find some interest, then that's your cue to host the conversation with them now, because it's not going to be a turnoff to them. Again, the key comes back to the communication. You're just finding ways to be able uh, to give yourself a platform to talk open and honest with them.
And then I want to, get to this point, before we wrap things up. Um, you were saying before about being blindsided, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now that makes me wonder, how far can someone research something without it being a red flag, right? So, um, if I'm interested in going to the strip club, right?
Mm-hmm.
Should I just like, bring it up to my partner, but without having to have gone to the club beforehand and say, oh, I like it. Let me bring it up to the partner. Or is it sort of like a, hey, I just have this idea. Let me run the idea by you first. Or I'm just like, is it, or even if you want to go as far as a threesome, right? I
Mm-hmm.
want to, is it okay to let me meet the person first before I talk to my partner? Or should I just kind of leave it in the idea stage? So it's like, how far can I research something?
Well, I
before bringing it up to the partner.
right. I think everything starts with intent. What's your purpose? What is your ultimate goal for this? Now, if it's just like, I've never been to a strip club before, then and I want to experience, I want to see what the hoopla is all about. Why him and the boys is going every Friday night?
Mhm.
What's the big deal? You can ask him, like, hey babe, I know that you and boys have your standing thing at the strip club, and I'm cool with that, but would you mind taking me one night? Because I want to see what all the fun is about. There's nothing wrong with asking your partner something of that nature. Um, as far as the scenes and scenarios and bringing a third party or other people into your partnership,
Mhm.
um that one's a little more tricky, only because typically we want to have an interaction with someone that we're interested in,
Mhm.
and sometimes it's caused because we met someone along our journey in life somewhere, and we felt a connection with them in some form or fashion that we would like to pursue more. Um, so I feel like if you've already met the person that you want to have the experience with, that it needs to be disclosed. You need to let your partner know that, hey, I met Taylor, at the Father's Day event back, 3 months ago, and the vibe was cool, and I would like to know if we could maybe do a scenario with them or with her or with who, what I'm saying? It's like you have to disclose how you've met the person you want to have the encounter with, especially if you've already met them. Now, if it's just you guys are going out, you've not met anyone, but you both are planning to go out to a club or an association, then that's different. You're looking for X, Y, and Z type of personality. So if you're out and you're talking to this kind of person, then you can decide who you would like to meet and be introduced to.
So either way, you have, if you do the research before bringing it up to your partner,
Mm-hmm.
you want to tell that partner, hey, I'm looking for fun things to do. I
Mm-hmm.
was looking into these things. I was looking into this strip club. I really like it. Or, hey, I was getting to know this person, and, she might, be a good, third person for us. But it's disclosing that,
Sure. Yeah.
I was doing some research and I wanted to bring this to your attention.
Yes. I mean, to me, again, it's communication. I don't. The nuts and bolts of it is you need to be honest about your perception and your intent. You need to talk to your partner about it, and you both need to agree upon it.
Right, right. And then is it safe to say, like, how long have you been doing the research? But I guess it goes into intent. Like,
That
oh, I've been
right.
talking to this person for 3 weeks. Oh, I think she'll be a good,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
third person for us, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
because we already know that if you're telling your partner that you've been talking to someone for X, Y, and Z amount of time, and it's longer than 2 weeks, they want to know why are you holding such long conversation with this person. So you
Mhm.
have to be prepared to have that side of that conversation,
Mhm.
because your partner, if they care about you as their partner, they're going to want to know what sparked your interest in holding such long conversations with this person. You have to be able to be honest with them enough to say what captured your attention.
What did you like about this
Mhm,
person?
mhm, mhm.
Why did you talk? What about this person made you have such a long conversation?
Yeah, and how did you both get to the point where that person was okay with being a part of your requested scenario, and you felt that they were okay for you to tell me about them? Like, because your partner's going to want to know. Most people want to know.
That's fair. Does that third person you know,
Right.
know about you, and how much did you discuss, and how is
Yes.
it going to work, and
Yes.
what are the steps, and okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, because unfortunately, there's been a situation before in my personal life where the partner at the time was wanting to introduce me to another female so that there could be that threesome, and the person that they were trying to introduce me to knew of me, but my partner only told them that we were just associates, not that we were in a partnership.
Mm,
So it was the again the blindsidedness of lack of truthfulness, lack of disclosure of how intertwined the partnerships are, you know. And it's important. It's important. And because we both, her and I, felt like, why you tell her that I'm just your associate and I'm not your lady? And why you felt that you couldn't tell me that this was your, because it really, it to me, it determines how you interact with someone. It's like, okay, if I'm just an associate, then I should know all X, Y, and Z about you. But how do you tell someone that? It's like, you need to tell them,
mm-hmm,
because feelings get involved. I mean, I don't care what you say. People, we get attached when we start having intimate moments with people.
mm-hmm.
So I'm a believer in being open and honest, because I don't want to be hurt, and I don't want to hurt you, and I don't want to hurt someone else.
Absolutely. You gotta have that dialogue. Dialogue is important because, that's the thing with relationships, and whether it's two people or three
Yeah.
people or 17 people, there's always feelings and
Feelings.
emotions, and people get hurt and people get attached,
Yes.
especially with sexual relationships.
True.
Attachment happens, after sex, and so it's and then bonding and all
Oh,
these
of
things
course.
happen,
Of course.
and it all gets in a way, and then things get messy and sloppy.
Yes. And like I said, I'm here for elevation of relationships. And if you are not at a level or a point in your life where you're able to be open and honest, then I can't help you, because I don't want, in your dealing with my business, it to affect a person in a negative fashion. So if you are coming to me and you are needing some assistance on trying to find different topics or different ideas of how to do different things, um, I typically request that both parties are involved in this, because I don't want someone to be blindsided. I don't want someone to be hurt because they feel like they weren't enough for you. You know.
Mhm. Absolutely. So, which is typical with like couples counseling, and not to say that you're a counselor, but just
Right.
generally speaking, it's usually like we want both people here,
Yes.
not just the one person.
Correct.
So that both sides are heard, and you get both sides of the argument, and
Yeah.
actually practicing communication, and you're
Truth.
communicating with the other, right? You're not just going behind their back.
Right. And it's not he said, she said kind of a thing. It's like you both heard the scenarios, you both heard the situation, you both heard the outcry of, hey, this is what I need. And you can't say that, oh, you never said that. You never told me about this before, but no, we were here. We talked on this day. This is what I said. Now, if there needs to be more clarification, I can help with that, but we both heard it.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, we got to start to wind things down. I know, and it looks like we're about to go overtime,
Oh no.
but that's okay. But we're gonna start to wind things down now. So now, I like to ask my guests to share any words of wisdom with our audience. So, Miss Ivory, do you have any words of wisdom that you'd like to share?
I will say, always keep your sandbox or your playtime ready, whether it is keeping yourself well groomed for your persons, or just having an open mind, open heart to be able to keep happy and healthy communication, because adults play too. So keep it in mind.
Awesome, awesome. All right. Well, Miss Ivory, thank you so much for coming on Hot Topics, and
Thanks for having
thank
me.
you for diving in with me with these tough topics, and just answering all my questions. So, thank you for coming on Hot Topics. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the time.
All right, you guys. We're gonna jump ahead to our promo. So you can find Oh, I spelled can wrong. Okay, just gonna fix that real quick. All right. You can find Black Ivory. That is her name. You can find her all over the place. You could find her online if you are interested in her coaching services. You could her website is www.black, that's BLAQUE, ivorieslayer.com. You can find her on Facebook and YouTube with the name Black Ivory's Lair. She is also on Instagram, Black Ivory's Lair, all one word. And she is on Twitter. I noticed you don't have the S there. Black Ivory Layer. So yeah, so you could find her all over social media. She's on Facebook, she's on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. So I encourage you to follow her on all of her accounts. And if you want to learn more about her coaching services, any you're looking to spice things up, you need some tips, you need some things worked out, seek her services, go to her website. It is www.blaque, ivorieslayer.com. Is there anything else you want to share about your business? What do you do? Where can people find you? Any of that good stuff?
No, yeah, I mean you pretty much said it all. Just know that I am here for as a resource to your sensual health and elevation.
So, do you do in person? Are you virtual?
I'm in located in Chicago, so I do in person in Chicago area, but I'm virtual. We can do online meetings as well.
All right, there you go. So, if you happen to be in the Chicago area, so where do you have an office?
No, basically I essentially come to your place of location, whether it's your home or business.
Oh, so you travel. All
Yes.
right. So there you go. So, all right, you guys. So if you happen to be in the Chicago area, she comes out to you. She does in-home visits, at-work visits. So she comes to you at your convenience. So I encourage you to take advantage of that if you happen to be in the area. But she also does virtual services as well. So, hit her up, you guys. If virtual all over the country.
Yes.
I don't know if you do global, you do other countries.
I can. I can. I'm open to it all. I'm here for those who need me.
All right, she's open, you guys. So, whether you're anywhere in the United States or maybe you're one of our international audience members and you're listening to this in another country, reach out to her as well. So she does it all, you guys. So again, I'm going to give you that web address one more time. It is www.blaque, BLAQUE, ivorieslayer.com. And you can find her on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. All right. So, Miss Ivory, thank you so much again for joining me on Hot Topics. This was awesome.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to place you backstage. And, whoo! That was a mouthful there. That was a lot. But yes, thank you guys so much for joining me today on this episode. So I'm just going to take this moment to remind you guys that Hot Topics is a production of my company, A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. So if you are, I know we had an adult conversation today, but it's all in the name of learning about things, right? So in the name of tutoring, so if you are looking for any academic assistance, any homework help for your children, I know it's a weird pivot. I have a weird pivot. Like we're talking about like threesomes, and now we're going to talk about tutoring. So I apologize. This is a weird pivot, but but in the name of helping each other, there's more than one ways to help. So if you are you need any tutoring services, we do one-on-one tutoring, we do test prep, college counseling, editing and proofreading. We also have some workshops, so if you need any of those things, maybe your child is struggling to get their homework done, or maybe they they're smart, but they're lazy. We see that contradiction a lot, or they need time management skills, or they're just falling behind in their classes, promotion and doubt, test anxiety. We do all of these things. Please reach out to us. Our website is www.astepAheadTutoringServices.com. You can also email us at success at a step ahead tutoring services.com. You could also call or text us. I strongly prefer that you text, but the number is 347-762-2838. And you can find us all over social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Eventbrite, and WhatsApp. So I encourage you to reach out to us on our social media and even follow us on social media as well. And if you happen to be, excuse me, mm, if you happen to be listening to this on a podcast platform, whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts, subscribe to our podcast as well. So if you are looking for any tutoring service, any kind of academic help or assistance, reach out to us. The website again is www.astepahead, a step ahead, don't forget the a step ahead tutoring services.com. I also want to encourage you guys to leave your feedback about this episode today. Please drop a note, drop a comment in the comment section, in the comment thread, you know, drop a star. Spotify has a new feature now where you can say your feedback about the episode. So take advantage of that. So whether you are, wherever you, wherever you are taking the sound of my voice, whether it is on video or on audio, leave your feedback about this episode. So, however it is, I encourage you to leave your feedback about this episode. And I encourage you to share this episode with your friends. I want you to share this episode with at least 2 friends. You guys, let's spread the word out about spicing things up in your relationship. So, I definitely will appreciate your feedback. It helps our algorithm and it helps people find us. So please leave your feedback about this episode today. And don't forget to reach out to us as well. One more time, I will give you that website, www.astepaheadtutoringservices.com. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to you joining me at the next episode. Don't forget to check out our older episodes as well, because we have plenty of those. Don't forget to check out our previous episodes as well. But thank you guys for joining me today on Hot Topics. I am now signing off.